And then it goes dark. At noon, it goes dark. A supernatural event takes place. The whole place goes dark. At the brightest point of the day. Not just for a few minutes like an eclipse, but for 3 hours. Total darkness. And what then does Jesus begin to cry? What does he say then? In the midst of the darkness, we begin to see the real sufferings of Jesus Christ. It wasn't all the outward. This is what people focus upon. They focus on the nails and the crown of thorns and the beating and they focus on all that. But they miss the real suffering. The real suffering commences when all goes dark and even the sun cannot look upon what's about to take place. Whenever God the Father turns his back on his Son, and Jesus Christ cries out, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? Forsaken. He could cope with the forsaking of his disciples, who all fled. He could cope with the physical agony. But his mind is tormented. As a man, he can't take it in. God the Father has now turned his back. Why? He was made sin for us. God puts my sin on him. He begins to suffer the agony of an eternity of hell in those dark hours. And feels the departure of God who cannot look upon iniquity. Do you realize that that's where the real suffering begins? When the prophet records it pleased the Lord to bruise him, he had made a soul an offering for sin. This is the gospel. This is the work of Jesus Christ. And having borne all that and bearing all that, he cries, I thirst. He cries, I thirst. Why does he cry, I thirst? Who here knows Luke 16? When the rich man and Lazarus, Jesus tells us the record. The rich man goes to hell. He's a Jew, but he goes to hell because he doesn't know Christ. He loved his money. But the poor beggar, Lazarus, he goes to glory. And what's the cry? What's one of the first cries the rich man looks for? Send Lazarus, that he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. And there on the cross we have the same thirst being borne by Christ. The thirst brought on by eternal punishment and the wrath of God upon his soul. And he bears it until 3 p.m. when he cries with a loud voice, it is finished. And then he says, Father, into thy hands I commend my spirit. And he bows his head and steps into death. This is what Christ endured.